Welcome. Here we go. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see all these beautiful faces, and my heart is already happy looking at everybody here. I'd like to begin with something my beloved friend Moni Shwarji taught me a long, long time ago. And first, it's from my heart to each of yours. I'll begin with you, Arunadev. I bow to the God who lives within you as you. From everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. And now to you, my beloved Indira, I bow to the goddess who lives within you as you. From everlasting to everlasting, thou art goddess. And to Kanika, I bow to the goddess who lives within you as you. From everlasting to everlasting, thou art goddess. And to my beloved Ishwari, I bow to the goddess who lives within you as you. From everlasting to everlasting, thou art goddess. I think this is one of the most important things that we can remember, is that this is who we truly are. Today we're going to begin with arati, as we always do, this waving of the lights, this tradition and ritual that goes back. It's really a timeless recognition of the light that lives within us as us. This light is an eternal bright blue flame as big as our right thumb. Your right thumb is the exact same size as your bright blue flame that lives within your heart. This is what we understand to be our higher self, our Christ consciousness, our Buddha consciousness, whatever name we give to it, it remains the same, the spark of the divine that is truly us. And it's the path that we've decided upon to have the experience, to live truly as this flame is within us, to be that in our life. So with each waving of the light, we ask that the light within our own heart be kindled. I'm going to light a candle here from my puja. See if it's and the incense. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya, Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya, Shiva. Sadhguru Maharaj Ki Jai. And the translation of that is, we bow to the venerable feet of the masters. So as our satsang opens for us, there's a sense of the gathering of our beautiful souls and the beautiful souls that are attracted to the light that we're generating together. Such a beautiful light, and what a difference each one of you make. I wanted to do a little bit of a prelude to the story that I'm going to tell today. I was in meditation not too long ago, and I asked God, "What do you want me to do?" And the answer came to me, I want you to be happy. It brought me to tears. It had never occurred to me that my happiness was of interest to God, that's what he wanted me to do, was to be happy. And then I had this sense that he had created a paradise within me, this blue flame, and yet I saw it as paradise itself, a beautiful landscape, a beautiful environment. And the message came to me, when you are happy in this environment, all your doingness will arise from that happiness. Your doingness and your beingness are one and the same. And it's from this place of happiness that seemed to be so critical. And so I've been working on noticing, what is it that makes me really happy? What is it in my life that nourishes me, nurtures me, lifts me up when I'm confused, redirects me when I lose my way? And so it has been in that landscape of paradise and of my happiness arising from that paradise that I selected the story today that's from Anthony DeMello, who was a beautiful being who lived in the 20th century. And he wrote about this. A disciple came to the master and said, "What shall I do to love my neighbor?" And the master answered, "Stop hating yourself." The disciple paused and reflected and turned back to the master and said, "But I love myself too much. I'm selfish and I'm self-centered. What do I do to get rid of that?" The master said, "Be friendly to yourself. Yourself will be contented, and that will set you free to love your neighbor." That's the entirety of the story, and I think that is a template to a beautiful life. What do I do to love my neighbor? This desire to be of service, to do something that's worthy of us, that's maybe higher than we believe ourselves to be, this impetus within us for something that's of the light. This is one of the things that I think is one of the most beautiful parts of the path, this initial experience of a desire to do something for somebody else. Then as we desire this and we seek the guidance of a wise friend or a spiritual teacher or some repository of wisdom, the answer comes. The answer isn't out there, it's in here. This is where we have to take a look. And what is what is it that we do? Not make ourselves more shiny and beautiful, but stop hating ourselves. Many of us, I know that I had my self-hatred very cleverly disguised as I don't know, something noble, sacrificial, something in the the realm of the martyr. That was my particular color scheme that I used. And it took a great deal of time to begin to realize that as much as I wanted to make someone else happy, as much as I wanted to love someone else, the idea of loving myself wasn't something that I was even really familiar with. I didn't even really know what that looked like or how to accomplish it. And the idea, and I had the same idea as this other disciple, but I love myself too much. I'm selfish, I'm self-centered, these things. And as I was preparing this story for today, I thought, whatever gave me the idea that self-love and selfishness have anything in common whatsoever? Self-love? Real self-love? Wow. How do I do that? The next thing the disciple says is, how do I get rid of the selfishness and the self-centeredness? It's very easy for us to think that there's something truly wrong and that we need to eradicate, take some kind of violent action, excise it. It can make us really angry that we have these, what seems to be shortcomings in our life, like we want them axed out of our life. But the advice of the master isn't to focus on the trouble and the difficulty in our darkness, but to be friendly to ourselves, to be friendly. Who would have thought that this is the part of the spiritual path, that I get to be friendly to myself? And I was thinking, what does that even look like? But how do I experience that? And I was thinking back to the times of when a friend, whether that friend was a family member or a colleague or even something friendly one of my children would say, it was someone who saw the best in me, someone who believed in me, someone who trusted that I was better than I knew myself to be at that time. These very gentle, ordinary, totally human kinds of things. To befriend myself that way, it was such a foreign experience for me to be in the company of myself and to treat myself, wow, what's going on in the world that this kind of thing is going on? How could I have thought that I could be of any use to anyone else if I don't know how to be used to myself? How could I truly love or forgive another if I can't do that for myself? It took me a very long time to realize the importance of true self-love. And I think I'm still learning that. I'm still trying to have those experiences, to love myself with my absolute might, as Simona said. So the master goes on to say, well, after we're friendly to ourself will be contented. Contentment. Now that was another big news for me. Contentment. I thought I was looking for enlightenment. I thought I was looking for, fancy spiritual experiences, visions and all of that kind of thing. Contentment. That out of contentment would come love for my neighbor. It was a difficult thing for me to get. And if I could just ask everybody to make sure that they're muted so that so that we can all stay together. Thank you. So this idea of contentment, I didn't know that that's what the master's were. I thought maybe I was being tricked a little bit. Contentment seemed way too passive, way too, how could I do anything spectacular if I was just contented. And yet, contentment is points to the middle way, the place between the two extremes. That's the place of balance, a place of wisdom, a place of equilibrium. And it's from that place that other things are allowed to just be. Out of that peaceful place, that's one of the things about peacefulness, is its equilibrium. There's an aliveness in equilibrium, in things being in perfect balance. It's an exquisite sensation. It's not dramatic. And maybe in our culture these days, we've become a little addicted to the dramatic and to the flash and the extreme beauty. But it's the Buddha who speaks about the middle way. When we're contented, so much more becomes possible because there's not a struggle between opposites, polarities, or any of those kinds of things. It's out of contentment that the master says we become, our contentment will set us free. To be contented sets us free to love our neighbor and to do anything else. To be set free by contentment. Well, now that's a good way to go. There is, I think, one of the most beautiful and profound hallmarks of the spiritual path is the desire for freedom. Freedom from the ego, freedom from illusion, freedom from all kinds of things on the spiritual path that can interfere from our experience of our own inner divinity. But this path that this little story from Anthony DeMello is laid out is such a beautiful template for living our life in its everyday, perfect ordinariness. This desire to do better, this inquiry as to what we can do so that we can accomplish what it is that we want to accomplish. And that inquiry doesn't lead us outward, but brings us back in. And not to be critical of ourselves, not to be harsh with ourselves, but to befriend ourselves. I think it's worthwhile noting that each of us is very, very, very important to God. No less important than anybody else. And our healing, the way that we treat ourselves, is every bit as important as the way that we treat anybody else. It can be a difficult truth to accept that we can't really be better, truly, in the finest sense of the word, to anyone else than we are to ourselves. This spiritual path is a totally inside job in terms of purification, illumination, and personal experience. We, being well-intended, even in our broken states, even when we think, we wonder if we can do anything right some days. To be compassionate with ourselves in our difficulty is one of the greatest teachings I think we can do. Because if we can really learn to love ourselves, then the world is our oyster. I think that's one of the things that we can even witness in the masters, is the great love that radiates from within. We experience it as flowing to us, and we want to be able to do that. But it begins with self-love, with knowing that that light of the divine is who we are. Just breathe that in for a second. Letting yourself truly experience, I am the light of the divine. The divine lives within me as me, just as it does with everyone else. Ah, the wave of it. Let it flow everywhere. So as we have that upwelling of love, that sense that, yes, God wants me to be happy. Like that's what would bring a smile to the face of God. That's a good thing to remember. If I can make God happy, I've done something. So as we come into this self-love, then we can move toward friendliness to ourselves, toward contentment. And then we're free, truly, truly free to do whatever it is that we want to do in God's name, because that light shines wherever we are, doing whatever we do. It's a good thing. Anybody have any comments or questions or things they'd like to share?
Well, I want to thank you for this wonderful lesson. It is just right on for where I am now. And I've just read a novel recently. It's written in the 1960s. It's a early 1960s. It was a science fiction novel about a man from Mars, and it was in this guy. It was called A Stranger in a Strange Land, and I had never read it before. It really affected me. And one of the things the Martian would say to everybody is, "Thou art God."
Oh my gosh.
And it was like, I just have been carrying that with me as I see people in the grocery store. I look at them and say, "Thou art God." And you're right. It opens up, it waves over you this beauty, if I remember to be with that energy. And so yeah, this has been extraordinary. And this time in my life has been extraordinarily chaotic, and nothing has gone as I planned it. Nothing. And so I've gotten to the point where I am content with that. And so it's been a great lesson as I watch things come back. And I almost, I don't want to say I don't expect them to work, but I don't have that expectation that they have to work. You know, it's like, and so there's this like, okay, I'm just watching it go by, and this too shall pass, and this will be okay. And yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, the construction guy finished after my company arrived, and but it's just, it's so timely. So I thank you so much for that lesson. It just, I love that that view of this, that God is pleased by my happiness, my contentment, for just watching things go by, that God is pleased by that. I love looking at that through that lens. It's just wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you, Indira. Ishveri, anything you'd like to share? You have to unmute yourself.
It's good to see everybody. I've been thinking a lot about sitting physically with my dear spiritual family and really missing that, because I live alone and my only company is a cat. And so this is really good for me. And self-love has been hard for me. For pretty much really all my life, I've had a lot of self-criticism and self-judgment and really just self-disgust and self-hate, and just feeling like, how could I really be God if I have all these horrible feelings of anger and wanting to hurt people and fear and all this negative stuff. Like, you know, how could that really be God? But just learning, I've really needed to hear this because I need to learn, to really love myself, even my human weaknesses, and have compassion and forgiveness for myself. So uh, I'm, I'm, I think I'm learning it more. I'm definitely being more gentle and watching myself talk and changing it to a more gentle, encouraging voice when I hear it being harsh with myself. And so, thank you.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you. You can put your mute button back on, and then we'll see if Kanika's got something she'd like to share. Thank you.
Of course I do. And I would like to speak to Ishwari, Kira. I've read your book, so like I understand a lot about what you shared about your journey, and you are like a master in yourself. You've overcome so much, like, and all of those voices. I already know that you know this consciously, you know that they're not you. And but to acknowledge the fact that they're still there after all this work and all of the things you've done and all of this whole journey and all of it, that those remnants are still there, gives a lot of people hope, I think. I've only kind of been on this consciousness awakening path thing for, like, I don't know, since 2012, consciously. Um, and I have so much admiration for all of you who have come before me and who have done so much work and choose this path because not many people do consciously choose this. And sometimes I question myself. I question myself a lot too, like, especially when it comes to worldly standards. Like, I'm a complete and utter failure in so many ways when it comes to the worldly standards. And moving forth, I still don't fit in. And I'm learning how to have grace in that. Like, how do I choose this path of consciousness and to walk my spiritual path and to know my truth when I know nothing? Literally, I know nothing. I know a lot, but I still know nothing. And so that was such a beautiful message. Rana, thank you so much. So really beautiful and meaningful. And that message could touch anyone from multiple different levels and layers, from a street beggar with, like, I don't know, they're just looking for the next high or the next drink, which is fine. Like, I'm not here to judge you, to me, like me, Indira, like Kira, to Arunadev, all of us here, to the puppy dogs and the kitty cats, like all of them, everyone can relate to that message and be uplifted by that. And remember, some little kernel that we're still working through on our paths uniquely, where we are right here, right now, put our own individual journey. Like, so beautiful. Thank you so much. Just wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, the self-love and self-honoring and remembering to, like, the judgment thing.
Yeah.
I judge the hell out of myself, and I will let everyone else skate free, but nope, it's up to me. Like, no, and like, who is this voice? Like, where is this coming from? Like, whose voice is this? What am I doing here? I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you're here with us. Thank you very much, my love.
So beautiful. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you. But just mute yourself, and then Jim, Aruna, Deb, you got anything you'd like to share?
Well, the message, as with everybody else, it hit home with me too, because as Kanika said, self-judgment is the bane of our existence, I think. And to truly love others, you got to love yourself. And that's been hard for me. I'm getting a lot better at it, but I've still got a long way to go. And I realize that, and as Kanika said, we don't know anything. And the older we get, and the wiser we get, I think that's we realize that we really don't know everything. We don't know anything, and that's the, I guess that's beginner's mind kicking in, and that's a good thing. What I'm striving for right now is the contentment that you talked about. That means absence of judgment, not just of others, but more importantly, judgment of self. And again, that's a work in progress. But I do feel more contented than I have in a long time. And as Indira said, we've had recently we've had awful lot of opportunities to practice patience, and those are probably good things, because the obstacles become opportunities, and I feel good about that. So anyway, as I said, your lesson hit home for sure, as always, and thank you so much for being you, the goddess within you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What a beautiful group. I don't know if there's anyone else who's with us who'd like to come forward and share. That's fine if you do, and fine if you don't. You're welcome. Nikki.
Hey, it's Barbara. How you doing?
Hey, Dave. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you, Indira, for the reminder. I literally opened my eyes, said a prayer, looked at my phone, and saw your reminder and got on. So thank you very much. So, so I'm in my sleepy eyes, haven't even brushed my teeth or washed my face. So here I am.
Welcome.
And all my God glory, right? God still loves me anyways, right?
There you go. Yep.
What I wanted to say was that I'm noticing so many people, like so many of us, just going through it right now. And I wanted to remind people that, the South Node is in Scorpio for this next couple of years. And United States is going through our Pluto return. And so inwardly and outwardly, all our crap is coming up. I've noticed any issues of our self-love and all of that crap, judgment, our shadow side is like blowing up in our faces right now. So everybody's like hurting, 10 times more, it seems. And like all that stuff is just coming up for us to heal once and for all and to get cleansed. And I know the message that I've been getting is, I gotta love myself through it. So this was like perfect topic today, is like, That's our challenge right now, is to, or at least have compassion. Sorry, my timer's going off. At least have compassion with ourselves, and remind ourselves, all right, this is what's happening. This is the time now. The energy's so intense, all the solar flares, the solar activity. It's I think we all need to pat ourselves on the back for even being halfway sane being in these times. I really do. I honestly do, because it's really hard. It's really tough. And I thank God that I have God, that I know a little bit of what's going on. So it gives me relief. So I need to keep reminding myself of that. Like, okay, this is normal right now. This is normal. Yeah, I got crap. Everybody's got a shadow side. It's okay to look at it. It's okay to still, if I can't get to the place of loving myself, at least having compassion and focusing on the good parts of me, the good in me, those loving non-shadow parts, the God parts, and to focus on really who I am. So I think it's a perfect topic. It's wonderful, especially for right now, because man, really, really, my heart is like, it's been so hard seeing friends and family just going through it. We're all going through it, and the planet is going through it, and it's all in divine order. It's all great. We're all going to come out the better for it, but it sucks at times. It's really hard. So we're all spiritual warriors. So that's what I want to say. And love and blessings to you all and to the world. And thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Nikki. That was beautiful. I really appreciated that. There's so I'd just like to take a second to let all the wisdom that arose in our sharing to integrate within us, to as Nikki said, pat yourself on the back, to realize that we really don't know anything, to know that everything's in divine timing, that everyone is God, that no matter how much we struggle, there is a way out. It's unique to each of us. As I feel so much love in my heart from the circle that we're in right now, the circle of light that surrounds us. And integrate, letting what you're done with fall away, and feeling this beautiful, well-lit paradise within you come into view. I'll now take you on a guided visualization. So just get yourselves comfortable. As you begin to open and receive love, acceptance, compassion, and support. Feel like an arm around the top of your shoulders, as if the being that you most love is just giving you a squeeze of compassion and appreciation for who you are, for the struggles you're going through. They know, they recognize not just the struggle, but the being that you are that's going through all of this. Feel these sparkles of light shining forth from within you. Your accomplishments, your strengths, the beautiful things about you. This constellation of light that lives within you is you, shining. shining in the darkness of the times, of your struggles, of your self-doubt. Feel and see this sparkling, warm, white light shimmering within you. The constellation giving you your own guidance. Feel the light expanding across your chest and down your arms, as if your whole beingness is now this shimmering, soft, almost flaky white light. Feel yourself totally made up of these things. Each flake of white light, one of your good deeds, an idea you've had, something special about you. Those moments when you see the best in someone else, the moments when you're able to forgive, the moments when you rose up and helped someone else that you loved or didn't even know. There is this sense of fluffiness of this white light, sparkling, prismatic. As if you are a baby eagle. Each one of these flakes of white are becoming a feather. Feel the clarity of your mind, the clarity of your vision and hearing. Feeling your eagle's talons beginning to protrude from the fluffy whiteness of what is truly your greatness. These simple good deeds, these qualities that you were blessed with. As this baby eagle, this eaglet begins to grow, feeling greater feathers forming, the beak forming, the integrity within the heart, and the eagle's heart beating within you. Then you see yourself, feel yourself, experience the soaring, soaring on the updraft, feeling the currents of air supporting you in flight. See the expansiveness of your wings. Feel the freedom. And feel your eagle's heart beating. And breathe. And soar to the heights. Soaring above the difficulties in life, the earthbound concerns. Feel yourself going higher and higher, lighter and lighter, freer and freer. And see the pinnacle of a great mountain. Feel the majesty of it. Feel it calling to you. Feel how it resonates with your own heart as you move toward that pinnacle, that mountaintop, that crag of earth, high, high in the sky. As you alight on that pinnacle, your talons gripping the crag of the rock, feeling the wind in your face. Feeling God with you. Feel him filling your ears. It is you that I love. It is you that I love. It is you that I love. As these words ripple through you, down your back, filling your chakra, as you feel God's love filling you, circulating through you. Feel it move into your bones, through the blood vessels, the feathers, everything vibrating with this sound. It is you that I love. Feel that the sound of those words reverberating around your heart. It begins to awaken something within you. Feel the heart awakening, ripples of love itself, the love from which you are made, arising and rippling, resonating with you. Love. As you now have the awareness that love is all there is. Love is what got you where you are. Love is the air current, the craggy surface of the mountaintop, the fire in the sky, the sun, the light from the stars, the water, the ether. It is as if you yourself are seeing the palette of God's creation, every color, every element, every creation, arising from the ground of love. It's all he knows how to work with. And you realize that in your life, even the most difficult thing, somehow are crafted. At its core, there is love. Chaos, destruction, even there, though we may not see it, though we may curse it, sense the love and let it transform that which is most wretched about you. At your essence, this is who you are. Feeling the love taking on a golden cast all over you and through you. Hear a tone sounding, the vibration of love. The color of the sun and the sound of the wind, the feel of the earth beneath your feet, the water that courses nearby. These and other elements from other dimensions. Love. Because God is love. And we are God. because God is who we are. 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 Let this vibrate throughout you. Feel your ego returning you to the room in which you find yourself. God is who you are. Feel the blessing of this ego as it wraps its wings around you. Feel the ego head like a headdress upon you as you look through those eagle eyes at your life, at what you most need to see. And allow the teachings from the mountaintop to integrate and integrate, even as your ego integrates within you. And know and say with me, I am soul. I am love. I am will. I am of fixed desire. I am light divine. I am that I am, so be it and be it so. May God's will be done. Amen. Breathe. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And slowly open your eyes, taking all the time you need. There's no rush.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Wow. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
Wow, Rhoda, are you just trying to overgive to us?
I hadn't thought of it that way. Thanks, Kanika.
You've been suppressing this. Like, have you been practicing? You're so really beautifully gifted and really good at this. Like, and we receive all of your love and all of your gifts and all of your talents and all of your wisdom and your sharing. So I could tell that that was because I know the pattern. You could have, were you reading that? I don't know. Like, you probably
No.
weren't, but I know. But I understand the tone and the rhythm and the pattern that is that ingrained within you that you could just like speak it. And so
No, I just describe what I'm experiencing it, and I just speak it. That's all I do. It's not mine.
I know.
Please know it's not mine.
No, but I understand the teachings because, and I haven't even
Good.
done a full course with the
You do.
Kartikeyan,
Uh-huh.
like I haven't even done that, but I have 2 books and I'm familiar with it. And so like
Aw.
I understand the
Yeah.
pattern, like the rhythm and
Aw.
the rhythm and the wording and the pattern. And so like
Aw.
you're using that in what you're speaking to, like you're using that method and it comes through.
Aw. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, it's obvious to me. I mean, like it's just obvious. So
Well, thank you.
use it. Like uh, I'm all about making money, so I'm all about monetize that girl. Like, come on. Like,
Thanks for your good intentions. I appreciate them. I like to manifest some of that stuff.
well,
Thank
I
you.
like money and I like to make a living. So, and I do realize that even though we're on a spiritual path, that doesn't mean we have to be broke. I
There you
mean,
go.
so I
Really.
appreciate your time and your expertise and everything that you have put into all of these years of
Thank you.
study and the money that you have spent to develop yourself. Like
Oh, thank you.
you
Thank
are
you,
a
my love.
treasure.
Thank
You are a
you.
treasure and you should be treasured and you
Oh,
have value.
thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
may I say that to you? You are a treasure, and I
Thank
treasure
you. Yeah,
you,
I know. Thank
and
you. I
you
received
have
that. I know.
value.
I received that. I'm so awesome.
And I say that to each and every one of you. You are a treasure, and I treasure you, and
I
you
treasure
have
you.
value. I love
Yeah.
ending on that note. And I'll just say one more thing. God loves you, and so do I. Have a wonderful month,
Mwah.
everybody. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye to
Thank you,
every one
Rana.
of you.
That was
Bye.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
thank
Oh,
you.
I
Love you
love
all.
you
Love
guys.
you all.